down memory lane against the backdrop and the background of the renewed impetus on the age-long scourge and the adopted approach that points to Uhuru. Hope you get my drift. In the same vein, that the country's malaria control effort is on the upswing mode. So also is the management of the NTA bracing to reposition its stations in order to serve you better. It's been 1 week since the launch of the 5G network. Curious to know how far so far? Well, users would be sharing their experiences. Stay with us on our offerings on food, security, from the wheat roadmap to cassava revolution. These and much more we have on our lineup tonight. So sit back for the full package as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umarbuba and this is News Extra. You're welcome. Don't forget, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on your screens for updates. World Health Organization reports of 2021 shows that Nigeria alone accounts for 27% of all cases of malaria and 32% of deaths globally. This poor indicator prompted President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a total war against the scourge with carefully selected food soldiers trusted to deliver the desired results. Let's now join Rabi Abdullah as she takes us through Nigeria's efforts at reversing the trend of heavy malaria burden amongst the populace.
The buzzing mosquitoes that amongst them is the female Anopheles mosquito, which bites and transmits the plasmodium that causes malaria in humans. Despite some levels of commitment to malaria control, the age-long disease still remains a major public health problem worldwide. Research findings show that malaria takes the lives of more than 1 million people annually, 90% of whom live in sub-Saharan Africa. Due to the burden of the disease over many decades, African heads of government gathered in Abuja in April 2000 for the African World Malaria Summit, often referred to as the Abuja Summit. At the meeting, leaders signed a declaration committing themselves to the plan of action for rollback malaria agreed at the summit.
In this African Summit for Malaria, countries where malaria was a problem were gathered in Nigeria. And in that conference or in that meeting, about 44 head of states were physically present. We have the head of organizations like WHO, World Bank, UNICEF, UNDP, they were physically present. And the Abuja Declaration was talking about reducing malaria burden by 50% by the year 2010. Interventions were identified, and it was then that at least 60% of the population should use nets, 60% of the population should get treated, and 60% of pregnant women should have the intermittent preventive treatment. And with all this, they should be able to reduce by 50% the burden of malaria in the countries by 2010. By 2005, a midterm review was carried out, and it was discovered that countries were really not doing well. By 2008, countries started developing new strategic plan, and Nigeria developed strategic plan 2009 to 2014. By 2013, another national strategic plan was developed, which was 2014 to 2020. And recently, a new one has been developed from 2021 to 2025.
The history of malaria control in the country since the 2000 Abuja Summit is one of insufficient efforts and funding to achieve set targets. Funding gap is said to be the biggest challenge impacting the implementation of malaria programs in Nigeria.
The current malaria strategy plan has a funding gap of about 52%. So it's a well-costed plan, but when we looked at the funding landscape, whether it's from government, from partners and others, it's only about 48% that will be funded at the end of the plan.
A glance at the country's disease burden shows that malaria is one of the leading causes of morbidity and mortality, especially among children under the age of 5 and pregnant women, just as it places heavy socioeconomic burden on Nigerian households and health systems. The federal government of Nigeria has, however, been working continuously to reduce the country's malaria burden with the adoption of other evolving strategies.
Nigeria has done fairly well in reducing the malaria prevalence. We are also depending on the malaria vaccine, which is just about to be rolled out to help in getting the protection that communities will need. We have had the tests that were carried out in Ghana, Malawi, and other countries where they did the clinical trials for the malaria, and we're happy with the results.
Tuesday, the 16th of August, was when the latest efforts by Nigeria to stem the tide of malaria was galvanized. President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Nigeria End Malaria Council. The 16-man council, which has Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, as chairman, is expected to drive the federal government's commitment to end malaria in the country.
The End Malaria Council is intended to mobilize additional resources. Our partners are doing a lot, but we have also recognized that the partner support are dwindling. So it's not like before. And this is not just in Nigeria, it's globally. WHO has also recognized that because partners' funding is dwindling, countries need to do more internally, and that's one of the main purpose of this End Malaria Council.
Nigeria needs 1.89 trillion naira to reduce malaria prevalence and mortality by the year 2025, which will be just 5 years to the 2030 global target for malaria elimination. With the advocacy and funding, the Dangote-led council is expected to bring to the malaria control drive comes the hope in Abuja. Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Rabi. Now, Nigeria, the most populous nation on the African continent, is a heterogeneous society with diversity in ethnic, religious, cultural, and social backgrounds. How well has this diversity sustained the country's unity and integration? Adiola Kamir Akere sought the views of a cross-section of Nigerians and now reports.
The simple proverb, which clearly states that a tree cannot make a forest, gives credence to the fact that no man can live in isolation, and to achieve national integration, all hands must be on deck in translating unity into nationhood. To achieve this, the federal government has since independence instituted the National Youth Service Corps, Unity Schools, Festival of Arts and Culture, National Sports Festival, among others, to drive home just one point, which is national integration. This quest, a serious and demanding task, has some factors hindering its sustainability.
We should take away discrimination first, and then the government should do something great for youths that create more jobs for us.
Analysts say with the coming elections, preparations should not further divide the populace, but channeled towards insistence on national and not self-interest.
And this time we are going into another journey in our politics. There is that need for a kind of conversation, a kind of consultation, a kind of bringing people together to pursue national cause.
Our conversation will need to be more polite. Our conversation will need to be more respectful of others, knowing what their needs are, and having this true fellow feeling. That will make a person in Benin, for instance, where one is talking from, sympathetic to somebody in Sokoto because we simply belong to the same country.
Don't look, maybe this is Christian, this is Muslim. We are one, and we are the same human being. If there is love, there is everything.
It therefore behoves on Nigerians to reduce the threat of ethno-religion crisis, which focuses more on groups and individualism for national integration.
Thank you so much, Adela, for that. Unity is indeed key. Now, Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, is of the view that autonomy for local governments in Nigeria will largely address the challenges of insecurity and unemployment in the country. He made this position known at a national conference on local government administration in Abuja. And Timothy Yusuf has that.
It's a meeting of chairmen of local government service commissions and administrators. The role of local government councils in grassroots development in Nigeria is the major agenda here.
It is high time we work together to substitute restraint and the weakening powers associated with the local government system in our country.
The Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs and the President of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees called for the devolution of powers and financial autonomy to local government councils in order to effectively tackle insecurity.
Every security challenges are local. The solution to it is a local solution.
The National Council on Local Government in Nigeria, the council, once it is established, would act as the highest advisory body to the nation on issues of local government. It would comprise of political leaders, key functionaries of the local government system, as well as major stakeholders that would meet regularly to discuss and share ideas on how to develop benchmarks of good governance.
We openly support the bill to grant autonomy to local government councils in Nigeria.
Local government autonomy is part of the 44 alterations recently passed by the National Assembly, but now awaiting concurrence from the state houses of assembly. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Countdown to 2023 polls comes with the counting of the costs and gains of previous elections. So INEC is meeting with observers of the Osun and Ekiti governorship elections for credible outing in 2023 polls. Mayor Ogedi reports.
Ballots dropped in the ballot box on the 18th of June and 16th of July in Ekiti and Osun states.
On behalf of the chairman of INEC,
results declared 1-1 draw for APC and PDP.
Imole was announced, which I say, Imole.
Victors and victims retired home. Time for the observers' observations. International and local observers are credited to give a credible report to guide INEC for credible poll in 2023. From Aminu Idris to the observers, let's be fair in our submissions.
I urge those who have not yet submitted their reports to us to give it a priority and give us the reports from the two elections, because we need to look at all the processes before the general elections. And when we are looking for reports, we are looking for not just areas where there are challenges, we are also looking at areas where the commission is doing well.
As observers, you represent the generality of the Nigerian citizens. So the commission is glad to engage with you.
All guided with that. Here is an exclusive brief of the observers' notes.
For your recommendations, you ask that the commission should improve on its logistics preparation towards early activation of racks, that political party agents interfered with the polling process by insisting on standing by voting cubicles to know the choice of voters, that the commission should have more trainings for adult staff on handling beavers in subsequent elections.
From INEC to the observers, we are greatly grateful. This will make an impact in the 2023 polls. Be rest assured. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
The difficulties in interrogating children in conflict with the law, as well as the uneducated in the society, have been identified as the major factor causing the delays in prompt completion of investigations. It is in the light of this that the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee of the Federal Ministry of Justice is working with the police and other partners to ensure substantial access to justice for juveniles and other victims of injustice. Olabode Arewa reports.
From time to time, suspects are paraded by the police for their alleged involvement in criminal activities. It is noteworthy, however, that the underage who allegedly involved in such crime normally are not exposed to public scrutiny. Challenges hindering the effective handling of such cases of juveniles, persons with disabilities, and victims of sexual and gender-based violence having been identified.
Rights of the children in conflict with the law, we're still way far behind in terms of provisions for the separate remand centers, postal homes, youth court, separate appropriate adult scheme.
Like a judicial system that is free from any bias in any way and will ensure that whoever that approaches the justice sector in any firm is coming there and will really get the desired result at the end of the day.
Although there are now special courts for juveniles, the forum is convinced that getting interpreters for illiterate litigants as well as psychosocial support for victims of crime would help to give them a feeling of social inclusion.
The challenge you have in children court in Nigeria is from the parents' vital rights. Because when the case reaches court, some parents will disagree with the continuation of the case by saying, I don't want my children to be exposed.
Some uploaded reports that juvenile welfare centers recently established at police stations in the FCT are working in consonance with the overall mandate of humane treatment for everyone involved in the criminal justice system. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Let's head to Kano now, where 5 people are now millionaires, having won 1 million naira each at the Dangote Bag of Goodies 3 consumer promo. Our Salihu reports that the season 3 promo is expected to produce more than 500 millionaires across the country in the space of 4 months.
Pan-Africa cement manufacturers have unveiled a spell and become a millionaire in a season 3 of its Bag of Goodies national consumer promo as a way of giving back to consumers. It is also aimed at changing the lives of many Nigerians, especially within the current economic challenges facing the country. Idris Ibrahim Haruna is one of the lucky winners of 1 million naira each, who said he will use the money to start his business.
Just I purchased the product, that is all, and I am advising my people to continue patronizing. Inshallah, they will be among the winners.
I look forward to patronize the company more and more. Thank you.
Regional Sales Director Northwest of Dangote Cement PLC, Aliu Daw Aliu said 500 consumers will win 1 million naira each, while another 100 will grab 5 million naira within the 4 months of the promo.
You have fridges, you have television sets, you have fans, you have generator sets, and then you have a lot of recharge cards, and then cash prizes of 1,000 and 5,000 naira.
It gives us joy to see that our customers are making progress just as we are making progress as a business.
The season 3 promo is expected to produce 125 millionaires monthly, with 1 billion naira to be won. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Supreme Feeds, a brand of the Pand Agric Novum with specialty in the production and distribution of poultry feeds and macro packs for farmers, has identified and honored key distributors with awards and cash prizes at the just concluded Supreme Feeds Distributors Conference in Abuja. Charles Alpha reports that the gesture was a way of encouraging its network of distributors in Nigeria to make more profits while also providing quality feeds and superior yields for its smallholder farmers.
Distributors are often regarded as the bloodlines of any business outfit because of the role they play as middlemen. And for decades, Supreme Feeds, a brand of Pan-Aric novel, has enjoyed waves of support from an array of like-minded businessmen and women who are keen into the vision and meeting the nutritional needs of poultry farmers in Nigeria. The company has grown over the years, but not without its partners, with its growth trajectory dramatically changing following investment from consortium of international and local agricultural focus and impact-driven investors. In order to encourage growth, Pandaric Novel brought together business-minded distributors to the Supreme Feeds Distributors Conference in Abuja, where their efforts were all noted. National awards and cash prizes went to the second runner-up, Olaji Farms, that got 600,000 naira, while first runner-up, Egbath Global Limited, got 1 million, and the first position, External Co Nigeria Limited, went home with an award and 1.5 million naira.
Last year I had an award, this year I had an award too. I'm aiming for the Platinum Award. I wish I could get that maybe probably next year.
It has actually impacted on my business and the fact that I have come in contact with so many farmers.
We see them and their growth as our own growth. Distributors are just vitally important for our own success, and so we will do whatever we can in supporting them. So we want to firstly make sure that we're providing them good quality feed so that they have a guaranteed market.
Our vision is to redefine the concept of agriculture in Nigeria and also to be the choice producer of feed and food in Nigeria. So at the moment, we are majorly into feed. The brand of our feed is called Supreme Feed.
Pandagric Novo is an integrated feed and food manufacturing company situated in Karu, local government area of Nasarawa State. The company has installed state-of-the-art feed mill to meet the demands of customers in Nigeria. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
To enhance the socio-economic activities in Iguruta, the state government has flagged off the construction of Iguruta internal roads. The plan is to give a sense of belonging to every community and actualize the even spread of development across the state. Ogedi Mwekwere reports.
Is one of the communities in Rivers State that contribute to the high internally generated revenue of the state and the nation. This is owing to the fact that the mainstay of the nation's economy is oil, and the community hosts 2 flow stations, 46 oil wells, and adjoint gas station. Sadly, the road network in the community has been in a deplorable state after the civil war. With the flag off of the roads by the Rivers State government, the natives are optimistic that the socio-economic fortunes of the community is changing for good.
Since after the Civil War, 52 years now, no government in power, whether military or civilian, has visited this community for our projects.
Governor Wike says good governance entails provision of basic amenities for the people.
The use of this community, this is part of your job. To make sure nobody disturbs the contractor. Don't go and begin to demand things that will make the contractor, I will not do the job. At the end of the day, the user will lose. Penal settlement will lose. The contractor will not lose. All activity with the contractor is to engage the youth for them to do some jobs here.
Governor Okeze Ikpeazun of Abia, who was the special guest, described Governor Wike as an exemplary governor. He noted that his commitment and love to transform Rivers State is profound.
God who has given you this assignment at a critical time like this will strengthen your hands to his glory and to the benefit of the people of Rivers State.
The roads have 6 interconnected roads of 10 kilometers with a width of 7 meters and 20 kilometers of drains. In Iguruta, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. Ogedi Nyekwere, NTA News.
And still in Port Harcourt, you know there is nothing as good as driving on a smooth road without the anxious feeling that you will enter into a pothole unexpectedly. No wonder roads infrastructure is considered critical. Now, you know why the Boni Road project, which is gradually taking shape with construction work advancing at various stages of completion, is making the locals happy. Kingsley Amajiri, who visited the site, says the local inhabitants are also glad because of the huge economic potential the project will create when completed.
A hitherto mangrove forest lying fallow between Bodo and Boni is certainly turning to a motorable pathway From Alpha Creek Bridge to Pobo Channel Main Bridge, a distance of about 17 kilometers, is now motorable with intensive earthwork ongoing. For now, 9 mini bridges have been completed. The longest bridge, measuring about 1.2 kilometers, is about 65% completed.
For the authorities, this is indeed a significant milestone in the construction of Bodo Boni Road project, given that this is the longest bridge on this road.
The northern approach is about 70% completed, while the southern approach is about 6%, and the work is seriously ongoing.
Piling works is ongoing at the 750 meters Nana Creek Main Bridge, which is the last bridge into Boni. The contractor is equally moving equipment with help of the barge to approach the road from Boni axis. So far, site clearing has been completed and installation of precast cover U-channel drains nearing completion.
With this installation now, the overlayer fill material can be mobilized.
For some of the local inhabitants, this project has created many jobs and hopes are high for increased economic boost along the major highway when completed.
From when they just start this road up to today, we can see a lot of activities, so many things, business transaction. The place is bubble, as you can see. So at the end of the road, we all enjoy it.
My business must move more than us now, because I know that we benefit this road when the work finish.
The Bodo Boni Road project, initially estimated to cost 120 billion naira, has been reviewed to 199.9 billion naira, with about 91 billion naira so far committed to the project. From Bodo axis of the Bodo Boni Highway, I'm Kingsley Amachiri, NTA News.
The Acting Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Alhaji Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, has charged the management and staff of NTA Lagos Channel 10 and the educational television ETV to continue to promote peace and unity in their reportage, so as to further strengthen the diverse nature of the country. He said this during and on the spot assessment of the station's facilities in Lagos. Nerot Nina reports.
The Acting Director General, Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, and his team on arrival were received by the general managers of NTA Channel 10 and Educational Television, ETV. The Acting Director General, after an assessment tour of facilities of the two stations, met with the management and staff and commended them for their dedication to duty, reassuring the staff of a better condition of service.
The essence of our coming to see the facilities on ground and equally to meet with the staff is for us to interface, understand exactly what problems that they are facing, and also come out with a resolution on the way forward.
The DG says NTA will continue to strive for excellence and urge all members of staff to continue to contribute their quota to the development of the nation. Executive directors in company of the DG further challenge the members of staff to be versatile and keep up with the digital trend, as the industry is a competitive one.
NTA will produce 24 content. So I want to implore you to be proud of your brand and to put in more effort into your production. What you do, what others do, and improve on it. You will be amazed with the type of content you will be able to come up with, and ultimately it's going to be for the good of NTA. So love NTA, be proud of NTA, because whether you do it or not, NTA is up there.
With all the goodies and interesting things the DG had given to you all, I think we do not have any reason not to perform effectively and efficiently.
The meeting, which was an interactive one, provided members of staff the opportunity to familiarize themselves with the management team. In Lagos, Nerot Nina Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has described the last leader of the former Soviet Union, Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev, as a courageous reformer who will be remembered for years to come because of his immeasurable contributions to world peace and openness in his own once rigidly closed society. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Gorbachev, who notes that while reacting to the death of Gorbachev at 91 on Tuesday, President Buhari said the late reformist agenda had fundamentally changed the Soviet society through his policy, which set the stage for economic and political transformation of his own country and that of others in the defunct Soviet Union. President Buhari explained that though Gorbachev's political career was consumed by those reforms, history and posterity will be kind to him for placing the interests of the Soviet people above personal ambition. According to the Nigerian leader, Gorbachev's legacy on voluntary dissolution of the war saw packed military alliance in pursuit of permanent peace in the world had a worldwide impact, adding that although Gorbachev died without achieving his dream of a nuclear-free world, his genuine commitment to durable international peace and security would never be forgotten. It's time for us to take our first break, but when News Extra returns, it is going to be all about ASU and the trending issues around it. Join us again.
Get into this beautiful pasta, chicken soup, juicy licking prawns. Thank you. Icy Fish is here. If you're in Lagos, you need to check out this place. It's beautiful. Oh. I don't want to be an amebo, but you guys have to see this. Girl, I'm just trying to give you good content.
Get 2 GB data plus 1 hour YouTube free on Airtel Super Binge plan. Dial *141 *514# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
His Excellency Yesom Ezenwa-Wike, CON, GSSRS POS Africa, Governor of River State, cordially invites the general public to the commissioning of Omerelu internal roads in Ikwere local government area of River State. The project will improve local economic growth by increasing the opportunities to access goods and services, which in turn improves the living standards of the rural populace. The project commissioning will be performed by Chief Olabode George, former Southwest National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on Thursday, 1st September 2022 at 11 a.m. All invitees must adhere to COVID-19 protocol. You welcome all invited guests. Announcer Kelvin Ebiri, Special Assistant on Media to the Governor of River State.
The Northeast Development Commission, an agency under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, wishes to announce to the general public the validation meeting of the NEDC Northeast Stabilization and Development Master Plan. Special guests of honor, Their Excellencies, the Executive Governors of Adama, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba and Yobe states. Chairman of the occasion, Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Chief Host, Sadia Umar Farouk, Honorable Minister, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Host, General Paul Tarpa, retired, Chairman, NEDC Governing Board. Date, Thursday, September the 1st, 2022. Time, 9 a.m. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Announcer, Mohammed G. Alkali, Managing Director, CEO, Northeast Development Commission.
The Honorable Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Eric Bishola, in collaboration with the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Dr. Sadia Umar Farouk, with the support of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, announced the launch of the National Action Plan and the inauguration of the High-Level Steering Committee to eradicate statelessness in Nigeria. The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, will grace the event. Also in attendance will be the President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawal, and the Speaker, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The Executive Governors, honorable ministers, and members of the diplomatic corps. Venue, Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Date, Friday, 2nd September 2022. Time, 9 a.m. Please, attendance is strictly by invitation. Announcer, Dr. Shwaib Belgore, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior.
This food is delicious. Can I have my bitters now? Okay. What is this? Is this my bottle of bitters?
Yes. Any problem?
Any problem? No. I'm not going to take them. I want my yo-yo bitters now.
Darling, but that is bitter.
Look. Let me tell you. Yo-yo bitters, it is unique in formulation and effective in action. So take this funny stuff away and get me my yo-yo bitters now.
Yo-Yo Bitters is naturally enriched with ingredients that flushes out the body impurities, tackles waist pain, and resolves constipation. It is also fortified with vitamins. Yo-Yo Bitters boosts your body immunity against diseases and free radicals.
Because it is different in formula and action, I don't accept substitute.
Yo-Yo Bitters, please, inside out.
When you wake up in the morning before you start your day, breakfast time is for work and for play, for a great start to your day. Breakfast time is
Always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's makes a great tasting breakfast for all of us.
breakfast time is Kellogg's.
Great to have you back on News Extra. The indefinite strike action declared by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has continued to attract reactions from the public as they say the prolonged industrial action is detrimental to students, parents, educational sector, and of the nation's economy. Maureen Leo Ajam reports that this is the view of respondents in Calabar, the Cross River State capital.
The Staff Union of Universities is on its 16th strike since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999. Within 23 years, academic activities in public universities is said to have been shut down for more than 4 years, a duration that is sufficient to complete a whole 4-year degree program. Industrial actions like the ongoing academic strike were meant to attract government attention to identified problems while also reminding government to keep to terms of agreements made for the overall development of the system. However, the case of ASU strike, which today is over 6 months old, is different and is resonating more concerns than ever.
Between March last year and maybe about February this year, I've lost more than 50 people from one faculty, medical college, from one college alone. Many have left, many consultants, medical doctors, they are all leaving.
Effects of the situation on the students are equally enormous, while other sectors of the economy are being crippled and adversely affected, with parents being frustrated.
I think they should go back to table. They should go back to the drawing board. They should go back and make concessions.
And you see the children of the rich in the private universities, 4 years they are out, and the children of the poor, they are here, they don't even know when they will graduate.
Educational stakeholders regret that the strike has aided the decay in educational system. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
From Ilorin, Kwara State, we hear that the decision of the Academic Staff Union of Universities to continue on an indefinite strike after meeting on Monday is generating reactions. This prompted Kende Omolosho to x-ray the effect of this decision on the affected parties.
A 6-month strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities has no doubt caused a major setback to the education sector, as students that are supposed to graduate do not know their fate, while those that just wrote JAMB are in the dark. However, consultations have been ongoing between the federal government and ASU, with no logical conclusion reached so far. Another meeting was held by ASU executives on August 29, 2022, which again ended in deadlock. The aftermath of this decision is creating worries to parents and students of federal universities across the country.
The future of our children is at stake, and as a matter of fact,
We already have a lot of security challenges on our hands. We already have a lot of society menace on our hands.
The situation where maybe we are demanding for certain or 5 things here, and federal government have done or 2 or 3 out of that 5 too. ASU should try to shift ground.
We are pleading to the ASU chairman to negotiate with the government again so that we can resume early.
The appeal from students and parents is for both parties to come to a positive conclusion so as to save the education system from collapsing.
For somebody who has gone on strike, the law is very clear. For the period that you are not at work, of course you don't expect to get paid. So while it is the right of ASU to go on strike, maybe for justifications that they have identified, it is also the entitlement of the federal government to assert its right of not paying for the period that these gentlemen were not at work. And as a lawyer, I'm fully in support of that.
Kaide Omolosho, NTA News.
Higher education in Borno suffered significant setback as a result of the over a decade of Boko Haram insurgency, and now the lingering ASU strike is taking its toll on the students, lecturers and other stakeholders of universities. Pauline Kujivana has a detail of a report from there.
The rollover strike action embarked by the Academic Staff Union of Universities for the past 7 months has generated concern by parents and students as the continued closure of the tertiary institutions is affecting the future of education in the country.
The government and the ASU should go on a table and agree on something so that we, the children of the poor, we will be able to see our future. But imagine, you spend like up to 7 years studying 4 years course.
I already designed my calendar on when to graduate. Corona came in, and now also
they have stayed for 6 months, and some of the things they learned in the school they have already forgotten it. So it will be better if ASU and government will resolve the issue.
We are talking about our children, we are talking about our country, we are talking about the future. Education is the structure on which we all live in.
As the industrial action continues, it is a mixed feeling for Academic Staff Union of the University of Maiduguri, expressing displeasure over the indefinite strike, considering setbacks due to the insurgency. On the other hand, academic and non-academic activities are thriving at the Borno State University, recently resuming from 2 weeks break for commencement of second semester 2021-2022 session. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Meanwhile, some concerned respondents in Jigawa State have described the incessant strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, as counterproductive and not in tune with the current global realities of university functioning. Speaking to Awal Kazare in Dutse, they called for genuine agitation that will help the system.
The more than 6-month strike by Academic Staff Union of Universities, those interviewed agreed is affecting Nigeria's education sector in all ramifications, with students, parents and guardians being at the receiving end. They described the strike by ASU as self-motivated.
The variables are too many. What you signed, what you forecast that will happen between 2009 and 2022 might have differed a little bit. And to our knowledge now, the difference is very wide. Consequently, my own take on this ASU impasse with the federal government is that ASU need to be more realistic.
From the student aspect, their parents, the economic situation of those living, trading in the university, landlords, whose houses are occupied by students. So this one is unquantifiable damages done to the economy.
And it will do a lot of good to many students and of course parents out there if the academic body and the federal government will sit together and come to an understanding so that the strike can be called off.
On reaching a truce, they stated that genuine agitation by the union should be looked into, while the union on their part should be considerate of others' flight, especially students. Meanwhile, the management of Sulalamido University, Kafin Hausa, which is a state-owned university, has announced resumption of academic activities after pulling out of the strike. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad, NTA News.
And from Benue State, the prolonged ASU strike has continued to elicit reactions as key players and parents have advised ASU to see dialogue as the only solution towards ending the strike rather than continuous confrontation with the federal government. Timbiet Agbaji reports.
For over 6 months now, students in some tertiary institutions have been at home due to the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU nationwide strike. During this period, negotiations have been ongoing between ASU and the federal government, but to no avail. Following the recent pronouncement of another indefinite strike, eminent persons expressed disappointment over the decision. Former Vice Chancellor of the Benue State University, Professor Umsu Kembi, and an entrepreneur, Isaac Akinkumi, says ASU must shift ground so that tertiary institutions will resume.
They will sit and think about this and call off the strike.
As far as I'm concerned now, they are behaving like a spoiled child. And it makes no sense. But they should just find a soft landing, because in this case, they are not a winner. They are losers. There's no way they will not go back to work. And the federal government will not pay 6 months. It makes no sense. It's a ridicule.
For some parents, ASU should be blamed for the current predicament.
You cannot spoil a system to repair it. They should think twice.
The students, on the other hand, are appealing to both sides to arrive at a positive conclusion.
There's something they can do to bring us back to school sooner as possible. It's fine.
They are optimistic that an agreement will be reached so that they don't lose out completely on the academic year. In Makudi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
Since the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU has not yielded a positive result, the striking university lecturers should put up some demands, looking at the implications on students, parents and the education sector. These were the submissions of stakeholders in Enugu. Comfort Ayim will tell us all about it.
From February 14, 2022 till date, ASU strike has been a talking point following its implications on the future of students, parents and Nigeria at large.
ASU should have negotiated with the government initially, so they'll find a way to stop this strike and everything. But
while the prestigious federal universities get emptier, state universities get busier as some lecturers voluntarily remained in class. Enugu State University of Science and Technology Institute is a testimonial.
The strike, in any way, it didn't affect my school anyway, because I think I've been going to school. I have lectures almost every day, which we just finished our first semester exams. That was by the end of last month.
So many students are at home doing nothing. Everybody's waiting for the strike to just be called up. But we are here, it's not really affecting us that much.
Though the Vice Chancellor says the State University is part of the national strike.
There's no way all the demands of ASU can be met by the government. That's a fact. It must be give and take. ASU must postpone some of their demands, and government must shift ground.
The ASU Vice Chancellor also called on ASU to postpone some demands and go back to the drawing board. While the ASU strike lasts, a wide ground awaits the universities to cover. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
And elsewhere in Osun State, education stakeholders and parents have also expressed displeasure over the lingering ASU industrial action. Wasiu Rauf reports.
It is no longer news that the strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities in Nigeria for the implementation of 2009 agreement has entered 6 months, despite a series of meetings held between the federal government and ASU to resolve the issue ended in deadlock. The outcome of the National Executive Council meeting of the Union further dashed the hope of the students who are anxiously waiting to return to their various institutions for academic work as the strike continues. However, Rachel Opadele, a student of Latoke Akitola University of Ogbomoso, who was working with one hotel due to the ongoing nationwide strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, was kidnapped and eventually killed recently. The touching incident of Rachel Opadele and many others are clear evidence of the impact of the protracted ASUU strike, as well as other social vices on students, including involving in criminal activities.
Quite a number of people are feeling the strike. You know, parents, don't also forget that on those campuses, we have people that are traders, that they have children to feed.
There are people who should research into problems in agriculture, in education, in military, in security. People who are involved in peace and conflict studies, all of them are aware now. All these have negative impact on the society.
If our universities are at home for 6 months, the first thing that should happen is that they should declare emergency in that sector. The implication is that they have lost a whole year.
Stakeholders therefore urge both parties involved to resolve the issue in the interest of students and nation, while the union noted that further negotiation will be welcomed to resolve the protracted industrial action. In Osogbo, Wasiu Rov, NTA News.
Edo State is one of the few states in the country where the indefinite ASUU strike is affecting only the Federal University. A disparity in academic calendar of universities in the same state is one of the dysfunctions occasioned by the strike. Obehi Otobo reports that stakeholders want government to rejig the education system such that it can live up to its reputation as the springboard for the nation's transformation.
The series of protests, mediations and meetings have yielded no escape from the impasse between ASUU and the federal government. After months in which the strike has been rolled over, ASUU has now downed tools indefinitely. This news is cause for unease amongst well-meaning Nigerians. The impact is harshest on federal university students in Benin, whose colleagues in the State University Ekpoma are currently in session. The disparity in fortunes and opportunity continues to produce painful comparisons.
So education is pervasive in all aspects, in communication, in security, in politics, in everything.
Education is a very important aspect for us that are youths, and when we are in a society or a country where we keep on going on this strike, it actually affects us mentally, because we ought to finish school students and then get a job, but it's hindering us and then keeping us back. It's not really helping at all.
It's the students who are suffering about this. But I want to plead at this junction, being federal government or ASUU, that they should come to harmonization, come to a round table to look at this whole issue so that the students at home, they can go back to their classroom.
Although the Edo State-owned university was initially part of the strike, protests by the students in June led to a ban on union activities by Governor Obaseki.
If there are many state universities that don't have problem, the federal government can leverage on this. Talk to those lecturers who don't have problem in the state university to see how they can relate with their colleagues and see how they can cultivate understanding.
The consensus here is that negotiations should resume between the federal government and ASUU, and that both parties should be ready to shift grounds so that the industrial action will come to an end. Observers say that already the cost of the ASUU action has been high, laying one whole academic year to waste. What is required is not more intolerance, but greater accommodation.
Well, thank you so much. And to talk more on the ASUU indefinite strike action, we have joining me via Zoom from Ile-Ife to discuss more. Like I said on the issue, we have Dr. Niyi Sumonu. He is the National Coordinator, Congress of University Academics, Kunu. You're welcome to News Extra, sir.
Yeah, good evening, madam. Nice to have us. Nice to have me this evening.
You're welcome once again. Well, we have watched reports, we've seen reactions from parents, from the students themselves, from other stakeholders, and all of that. Would you say, Doctor, is the ASUU's latest move justifiable?
I would like to intervene from this perspective that when you evaluate strike action or industrial action, which has become almost a yearly ritual, the effect it has on our education is more negative than positive. I would like to look at it from that perspective, that stoppage of academic activities has a lot of negative impacts on all concerned with university education in any country. In this case, Nigeria, that we are confronting with this industrial action. If you look at 2020, that's a COVID year. We had about 9 months stoppage of academic activities. And again, this year, less than 2 years down the line, we're having another stoppage that is above 6 months now. No nation can make any reasonable progress with this intermittent interruption to its academic calendar. Nigerian students or Nigerian graduates will have a lot to explain when they go outside to further their studies. So this is not good for our universities. This is not good for our country, and it's not good for the progress of this nation.
Okay, so Doctor, you've said it all. You've said it's not good. It's not good for the education sector. We need to move forward and all of that. So, can you mention what is the way forward? How would we do it? What needs to be done?
We have said this over and over again. In situation of wars fought World War I, Second World War, and we can take a guess at the current Ukraine-Russia war. Everything will still be sorted out on a table or at a table. So, in essence, what we are saying is that the role of engagement cannot be overemphasized. Engagement, constructive, productive, and all other possible adjectives with respect to engagement is what we should bring to the table, so that in whatever we do, we will still have to conclude the differences, we'll have to conclude the problems on a table. And we want to say here that this morning, I think, there was this intervention that I read in the dailies that the Nigerian governors are trying to step in. So it's still, I would say, it's a welcome development, because from our view, there is a breakdown of trust on the two sides. The government on one side, the union on the other side. But we can't still run away from discussion. And the earlier all the stakeholders involved realized the danger that we're already in, I think it would be better to have this resolved fast and as soon as possible, as soon as even now.
No, thank you so much. You said it all, Dr. Sumonu. Thank you so much for coming on News Extra and sharing your thoughts with us. Moving on now,
thank you for having me this evening.
State government will go beyond giving priority to the development of education through increased funding, but will adopt a more practical approach to learning with a view to ensuring that the prevalence of out-of-school children is eradicated across the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made this known while participating virtually at this year's Education Summit in Lagos. Musa Toliet reports.
An organized private sector gathered at this year's Lagos Education Summit to brainstorm and exchange ideas on the best practical education model needed to ensure no child is left behind. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who joined the conversation virtually, stressed that the focus of the Education Summit is to achieve a better approach to education than what currently is in practice, so that funding will be impactful and educators are better equipped to impart qualitative knowledge.
I'm hoping that even at the end of this summit, we can have a real conversation, especially with our private schools. What are the things that we need to do to ensure that we get a lot more, out of school children? How do we ensure that we get them back in school?
We are building a human-centric city in which every Lagosian will have access to affordable and world-class education, healthcare, and social services.
Guest lecturer Professor Enase Okunedo laments the decay in education sector, saying the knowledge-based system which Nigeria now practices is no longer appropriate. She said the system now allows the students to read for exams and pass, after which they forget what they have been taught.
As we think about educating the people, let's think, are there learning projects that we can use so that they experience the learning, because that will stay with them.
Content must reflect your socioeconomic, affinity. The teachers must be able to be globally competitive.
There was a panel discussion on the need to create more room for private sector participation in education development across the country. The 2-day Lagos State Education Summit has the theme, creating a sustainable, fit-for-purpose education model. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
In another story, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum was in Monguno, in northern Borno, to take part in the enrollment of 4,229 school-aged children, many of them orphans, whose parents were killed during the Boko Haram insurgency in parts of northern Borno. With schools infrastructure in place, the enrollment exercise is targeting 10,000 pupils under the first phase. Mohammed Goni reports.
Children aged between 6 and 13 years were enrolled into primary and junior secondary schools, depending on their academic status, before their displacement from communities in Monguno, Kukawa, Guzamala and Marchelekal government areas, all in northern Borno. After numerous attacks on communities in the aforementioned local government areas since 2014, residents, including thousands of children, escaped to Monguno town to live in IDP camps for years, with many children missing schools. As a result,
we are here to see how we can tackle one of the root causes of the insurgency, which is illiteracy, and that has informed the decision of Borno State government to enroll as many as possible, especially the dropouts.
The governor applauded parents and guardians for the large turnout to present their children and was for the mass enrollment. The enrollment was the third mass admission of displaced children in Monguno town by the Governor Zulum's administration, while similar exercise took place in other parts of Borno State. Professor Zulum inspected lecture halls, offices and staff quarters at the temporary site of the Federal Polytechnic Monguno, as well as the approved permanent site. The governor directed construction of additional hostel, staff quarters and administrative block at the Polytechnic. The governor rounded up inspection at ongoing construction of zonal offices of a newly created monitoring and evaluation unit, from which some trained officials will be monitoring government establishments such as schools and hospitals. Monguno's zonal office, which is to coordinate oversight of 10 local government areas in northern Borno senatorial district, was at 95% level of completion when the governor visited. Similar zonal offices are being established in Biu for the local government areas in southern Borno senatorial district and in Maiduguri for the 8 local government areas of central Borno senatorial district. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA.
Thank you, Mohammed. In the next segment of News Extra, we shall be feeling the pulse of subscribers in the location where the 5G network holds sway. Stay with us for more reports ahead.
Where's Glory? Excuse me, ma'am.
Where Glow now?
They're here. No, Glow, don't go village. Tell all our customer happy. Everybody pay attention. See, now Glow dedicated 10x. Now him I they take tension my customers. Now they dash me 10 times the credit when I load. Or even summer me double data join.
So with 1.5 when you give on the box, so you then enjoy up to
15,000 naira credit and data. And I say I never finish you. See, I say we enjoy when I join Glow dedicated 10x. When I go get 1,000 naira welcome credits, you just carry your phone, dial *777#. Really? Glow, you don't win. Una see there here. Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow. Please said now Glow with the 5. Now Glow with the go. Okay, so
enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.
I dey look for pension fund administrator. Where's the make sense? Wait care for me. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh, no. The bank be sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes. Customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try up. Cause promisable investment. Everything just a blend. Make that switch to premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension, active today, premium tomorrow.
It pain me. It depend you. It depend us. It depend everybody. Yes. But not shed, starter, come out, it no go suffer. This one they talk, and make them go if they want go. This one they talk, we go come out, we go. This one say, make we scatter, make we burn, make we do everything. When you scatter finish, where you go? Okay, you go take private jet, carry your family go. But make I ask you, what about your uncle, mama, auntie, brother, sister? What about them? Remember, who throw stone for market? You don't know whether the stone go touch your own person. If the thing will go come out from your mouth, you no go fit gather us together as one people. Shut up with please. War no get friend. You don't know language, you don't know anything. So if our get too much, make we sit down at the table of dialogue. Nigeria na my own, Nigeria na your own, Nigeria na our own. Make we come together and keep them together.
It's been a long day, and nothing could feel better than sleeping comfortably. So relax. You won't be bothered by leakage or irritation tonight. Huggies Dry Comfort has a super fast dry layer that quickly absorbs wetness for all-night dryness and comfort. So baby can wake up comfy and dry as the night before. And you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack, available from 650 Naira.
You almost don't lie. You almost don't lie.
Sunlight makes things easier, so you can do more.
You almost don't lie.
When you become more, you inspire others to be more too. Sunlight is here to support you as you reach for more success. Sunlight, more than you expect.
Join us to stop crude oil and product theft at production sites, on the pipeline, at terminals, at the depots, on vessels, at refineries. Help stop crude oil and product theft. Report infringements to www.stopcrudetheft.com. You can also validate genuine purchase at validate.stopcrudetheft.com. Please report and be rewarded. This message is from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company.
You're welcome back. Time for us to talk business, and we have Musa Abakar with that. Musa.
Thank you, Fatima. The federal government of Nigeria is partnering civil society organizations across the country on sustaining physical reforms initiated under the $1.5 billion World Bank-assisted State Physical Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program, SIFTAS, for results. This is in a bid to deepen fiscal transparency and accountability in public financial management system as a way of improving good fiscal governance at sub-national level. Statement by Ibrahim Mohammed, the SIFTAS Program Communication Specialist, said to the SIFTAS National Program Coordinator, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mr. Stephen Okon, made this call during a sensitization workshop organized for civil society organizations in Lagos. Mr. Okon explained that as part of its strategies to ensure the sustainability of fiscal reforms at sub-national level, the SIFTAS Program Coordination Unit was engaging civil society organizations to ensure that fiscal transparency and accountability are sustained in state public financial management activities. And now to energy. Oil prices continue to slide on Wednesday on investor worries about the ailing state of the global economy. The prospect of central bank interest rate hikes and increased restrictions to curb COVID-19 in China. CNBC reports that Brent crude futures for October, due to expire on Wednesday, were down $2.69 at $96.62 a barrel, following Tuesday's $5.78 loss. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were down 1% at $90.78 after sliding $5.37 in the previous session on recession fears. Well, that's business news. Fatima, is back to you.
Thank you so much, Musa. Now let's talk ICT. Recently, the ICT community in Algeria witnessed a transforming experience with the rollout of 5G network to enhance internet and communication accessibility. John Adams feels the pulse of Lagos residents on the experience with the 5G network and put together this report.
After so much debate on concerns of possible health implications of the fifth generation network on humans, experts allayed the fears of many by giving assurance that it is safe.
5G does not denature the human deoxyribonucleic acids. It doesn't have any side effects.
Consultations and groundwork by key players paved way for a kickoff. Now, 5G is here. How accessible is this young spectrum to Lagos residents?
5G. Normally it's 4G I'm making it up now, still on 4G network.
Some are willing to migrate to 5G, being aware of the promises it comes with, but are constrained.
Like this my phone now 4G. It's not fast. If I can make it faster, I would do it. So that I want to log in also for line. Data draining fast. And aside from the fact that so many networks are still having their poor reception.
From aviation, health, education, and to other sectors, experts say the impact of 5G will be transformative.
From 15 to about 20 megahertz gig per second, and with very low latency.
We look at almost every form of economic sector that we have in the country, and then internet has a role to play in all of this. So it tends to speed up more activities. You move away from the manual way of doing things.
You can do a lot more across with technology, moving data across, talking to people in terms of Zoom calls or in any sort of communication in there. Better infrastructure enables this.
The federal government is working towards achieving national coverage by 2025. This target is expected to be met with migration taking place gradually in the states that 5G was rolled out recently. In Lagos, John Adams, NTA News.
And to a bit on agriculture now, it's in its drive to encourage large-scale agricultural production. Yobe State government says it is carrying along various segments of the society in the initiative, as Governor Malabuni flagged off the distribution of animal traction to 356 indigent across the state. Yunus Suleiman reports that the intervention is to ensure food security in the country.
Yobe State is naturally endowed with vast arable land suitable for all year-round agricultural activities. This is why the state is considered strategic in crop and livestock production among its counterparts, contributing significantly to the nation's food security. The flagging off of the distribution of animal traction to 356 vulnerable groups across the 70 local government areas by Governor Malabuni is another intervention aimed at improving agricultural production to ensure food sufficiency in the state in particular, and Nigeria by extension. Under the latest initiative, 2 beneficiaries, each from the 178 political wards of the state, were given a pair of bowls and flour, with a charge on them to make good use of the materials for maximum benefit to augment their means of livelihood.
Government will continue to support our farmers with all the necessary input to fast-track the post-insurgency recovery program of this administration. This administration will also continue to partner with local and international partners and other support groups to improve agriculture, food security and economic empowerment of our people.
The intervention, experts say, could encourage the beneficiaries to shift from subsistence farming to large crop production and make positive impact along the agricultural value chain. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA.
No doubt, most Nigerians are feeling the impact of the high cost of bread, noodles and other confectionaries. We were told that high cost of grains is responsible for the inflation occasioned by the Russia-Ukraine war. It is as a result of these that the federal government has set a roadmap target to produce wheat to liberate the country from importation. Musa Aliu tells us more about the roadmap.
We started the multiplication under irrigated condition in Sokoto.
This was in Kwal, Plateau State, where Dr. Oluwashina Olabanji was explaining to me the innovation introduced in wheat farming in Nigeria. The innovation was cultivation of the produce in rainy season that was earlier believed is not possible.
The one we have now has given us a yield between 3 to 6 tons per hectare. This is the first time.
And here he explained to major key players how the country can be self-sufficient and become a major exporter of wheat in West Africa.
Put mechanization in place because it will ease production activity.
1.2 million farmers have been identified as wheat farmers in about 15 states. Under the roadmap, they will be supported to cultivate 250,000 hectares with an expectation of 3 tons per hectare.
At least 250,000 hectares will be put under cultivation in clusters.
Ministry of Agriculture and that of Water Resources will collaborate to provide a conducive environment for the farmers.
The success story of rice revolution through the National Rice Strategy document has transformed the rice industry in Nigeria. It is my firm belief that the replication of this same thing in wheat industry is not beyond the reach of Nigeria.
We shall do our best to ensure adequate budgetary appropriation to achieve significant increase in wheat production and productivity.
Currently, Nigeria's wheat output stands at 450,000 tons per annum, while the national demand is 5.6 million tons. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Another breather beckons. We'll be right back.
When you wake up in the morning before you start your day, breakfast time is for work and for play, for a great start to your day. Breakfast time is time.
Start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's makes a great tasting breakfast for all of us.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Every morning is an opportunity to take your hustle to the next level. Every morning is one day closer to your mission. So, make every morning count. Morning after morning. Start strong. Finish strong. Nescafe.
When we wanted to move faster and see more of the world, we found a way. We also found ways to connect beyond boundaries. And when an unprecedented pandemic tried to derail us, we found ways to get ahead.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Ready. As your bank, we have stayed proactive, creating dynamic solutions and leveraging cutting-edge technology to drive global expansion into new markets. We rolled up our sleeves to be human together, doing more, innovating smarter, and always showing up for you. So come on board, let's give you more. Access more than banking.
You're always running around. Keeping up with you needs a comforting touch from Huggies with the right stretch for how much you move. Huggies pants comfortably fit baby's tummy. Their 360-degree comfort fit waistband makes them easy to open and pull off and on. So baby can keep on exploring and you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack.
Join us to stop crude oil and product theft at production sites, on the pipeline, at terminals, at the depots, on vessels, at refineries. Help stop crude oil and product theft. Report infringements to www.stopcrudetheft.com. You can also validate genuine purchase at validate.stopcrudetheft.com. Please report and be rewarded. This message is from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company and
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is. Everyone will want you to.
NTA, developing the nation's human resource.
August meeting is where women always plan how the grassroots will be able to work.
Music is fuel that fires up our soul. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
It's a phenomenal energy that can only have come from Africa.
Thanks so much for staying. The presidency has described the statement by the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, in a recent interview, which he claimed that high-ranking security personnel had informed him personally that President Buhari had ordered security forces not to move against the Fulani herdsmen responsible for recent violence. The statement says these ridiculous claims are patently untrue. If he is as brave as he claims to be, let him name the military personnel who told him the story or forever shut up. According to the statement, it is disappointing that Ortom, who in the same interview described himself as a child of God who believes in being lawful and respects the Nigerian constitution, felt the need to spread such a divisive lie. The statement says, and I quote, "In a period of heightened insecurity, our politicians should be working to bring us closer together, not risking further violence by dishonestly seeking to further divide us along ethnic or religious lines." Fortunately, the cheap dog whistle politics behind Ortom's falsehood are plain for all to see. He is not the first opportunistic politician who has attempted to sow discord amongst his country people in the run-up to an election. The Nigerian people will see him for what he is, an opportunist, flaunting his ways and wares as the country prepares to elect its next president, a man fond of posing in military fatigue who expects the country to believe Nigeria's top security personnel would share high-level confidential information with him. To be clear, they do not. End of quote. And a Kano State Executive Council has approved the immediate demolition of structures on acquiring Gugao Quarry Market drainage lines. A statement by its Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Garba, says that the move is to ensure removal of all obstacles along waterways. The council also directed that all temporary structures mounted on top of drainages within and around the market should be removed with immediate effect. And let's take sports.
More aspirants to the presidency of Nigeria Football Federation are emerging, with the latest being Chief of Staff to the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Abayola, as well as Sheyi Akiwumi, first Vice President of the Federation, both of whom declared in Abuja.
Someone that can bring back the confidence of the sponsors, the confidence of the players, the confidence of the generality of Nigerians to spearhead a new movement that is called Regeneration of Nigerian Football Federation.
Every decision that I will take as president of the Nigerian Football Federation will be in the interest of football.
The Traditional Sports Federation of Nigeria has concluded its three-day national championship, which held at the training pitch of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Athletes from 15 states and some clubs vied for honors in Kokowa, Dambe, Abula, Langa, and Ayo. Apart from appearing at the National Sports Festival, this is the first time the federation would organize a national championship.
This is our tradition. Instead of we importing other people's culture, I think it would be better for us to export our own.
All that's the much we can take on Sports Update. Thank you so much for being a part of News Extra. I am Fatima Umaruba. Good night.
For the jury chairman, Mr. Francis Owoche. A round of applause, please.